Yeah, in the last class, we have studied about material dispersion and group delay. So we have seen that group delay is because due to the different spectral components which are moving along the length of the fiber with different speeds. When they are moving at different speeds, then there will be a delay between the spectral components when they reach to the receiver. Then it look like the spread, the signal has spread, so which leads to the dispersion. So that is your group delay, because due to the spectral components which are moving at different speeds, you get a dispersion. So that is your group delay. So group in order to know the dispersion, so first you should know what is the delay between the adjacent spectral components. That is first thing. Okay, so mainly we have seen dispersions into two things. One is intramodal dispersion, another one is intermodal dispersion. Okay, so intermodal dispersion we have already seen. In case of intramodal dispersion, there are three things. One is your material dispersion, which we have seen in the last class. Another one is waveguide dispersion, and third one is polarization mode dispersion. In case of material dispersion, the dispersion is due to the refractive index which is varying with respect to that of your wavelength. Okay, that means due to manufacturing imperfections, if your refractive index varies with respect to wavelength, that leads to the dispersion, which is called as material dispersion. The effect of material dispersion we have seen in the last class. Okay, so that is second thing. So next we'll go for polarization mode dispersion. Polarization mode dispersion is specifically for single mode. Okay, so within the single mode we have two sub modes. One is the horizontal mode, another one is the vertical mode. Because within single mode there are two modes exist, two sub modes exist, because your light ray consists of both electric field as well as magnetic field. So electric field is one component and magnetic field is another component. Both your electric field and magnetic field are orthogonal to each other. So when they are orthogonal to each other, they are 90 degrees apart. So, and if one of your horizontal mode encounter different refractive index compared to that of your uh, so both horizontal and vertical modes, if they encounter different refractive index when they are propagating along the length of the fiber, then there will be a delay between the horizontal mode and the vertical mode. Then there exists a dispersion, that is called as polarization mode dispersion. So assume that you are transmitting a light using a single mode propagation. So single mode light beam I have represented here. Okay, so it is generated by led or laser, and now you want to transmit them from the transmitter to the receiver. So this in turn, your light beam of single mode light beam consists of both your horizontal mode and vertical mode. So one is propagating in one vertical way, another one is propagating in an horizontal fashion. One will encounter different refractive index, another one will encounter different refractive indices if there exist manufacturing imperfections, or if the isometry of the fiber is not perfect, and if there are any fiber imperfections, then there are chances that the horizontal mode and the vertical mode may encounter different refractive indices when they are propagating from transmitter to receiver. Okay, so you have inserted a light beam and it is transmitting. Okay, so one of the representation ex is for this horizontal mode propagation, ey is vertical mode propagation. Assume this may be electric field, this may be magnetic field. One is going in this direction, another one is going this direction. While going in this direction, if it encounters different refractive indices compared to this, then there is a chances of spreading. Okay, so that is your polarization. One is horizontally polarized, another one is vertically polarized. So they're both electric field and magnetic field, because due to horizontal and vertical polarization, if they encounter different refractive indices, there exists a delay between them. That delay is called as polarization mode dispersion. So we have seen at the end of the fiber, I have written, instead of writing like this, if there is no such thing, then your pulse will be exactly received at the receiver like this. But instead, if there is a delay between these two, if they encounter different refractive indices, then you get a delay. That delay is called as delta tau. In this case, it is delta PMD. polarization mode dispersion, because due to the delay, one will go at a faster speed, another will come at a lesser speed, then there will be a dispersion and the pulse look like a broadened pulse. This is the one. Okay, whatever I explained, it is here. Suppose that the core refractive index has a different values along the two orthogonal direction. They are orthogonal to each other, and both your horizontal mode and vertical mode are propagating in orthogonal directions. Okay, one in x direction, another one is y direction, and one is horizontally polarized, another one is vertically polarized, and they encounter different velocities when they are propagating along the length of the fiber, because due to different n they face. Okay, so it's a continued explanation with respect to a single pulse. So I have taken a pulse, instead of writing only a single intensity pattern, we have written both in vertical direction as well as in horizontal direction. So this means that the same light pulse, whatever we used to use for our derivations and for our representations, I have taken the same thing, but I have gone one step ahead further, and we have taken in-depth analysis of that. So within that particular mode, there exists a vertical mode and as well as horizontal mode. Single mode, single pulse itself, but when you go in depth, one will be in the vertically polarized, another one will be horizontally polarized. Assume this may be the electric, this is the electric field, and it is a vertically polarized. It's a vertical mode. One is propagating in orthogonal fashion, magnetic field, it is orthogonal it is horizontal polarization. So if they go, if they so if when you want to transmit them from transmitter to receiver, if they transmit at the same speed, so they will reach to the receiver with no problem, and you can able to demodulate and decode it properly. But if they encounter, if this particular pulse encounter different refractive index, if this particular horizontal mode encounter different refractive indices, both will get different time delay, because if they encounter different refractive indices, they get different velocity, because n is equal to, we know that n is equal to c by v, where velocity is related to the refractive index. Once n is linked to your velocity, this will get a different speed, and as well as this will get a different speed. Once they encounter different refractive indices, they get a different velocity, and they transmit at different times. When they transmit at different times, one will go at a faster pace, another one will go at a lesser speed. So because due to that, if this thing is received at the receiver, the pulse will be broadened, because this is coming at a faster speed, and you have to wait for your another spectral component to come to the receiver, so it looks like a broadened pulse. Okay, this is your delay time. So actually both times are same here at this point. Here there is a delay between this time and this time. This is your tau. Okay, time delay. Okay, the same explanation is here. PMD is slightly with a different velocity for each polarization mode. Whatever I explained, it is here. One will encounter another refractive indices, another will encounter, because due to fiber is not symmetric, is the case. And orthogonal polarization modes are VGX and VGY. So one will encounter VGX, another one will encounter VGY. So VGX, so assume that the speed encountered by this will be VGX, this will be VGY. So this is going at a faster speed, this is at a lesser speed. The difference between them is your delay. So to calculate that, we have used a delta tau L. So we know the time, you can find out the time using your basic expression of your velocity. Velocity is equal to distance by time taken. So time taken is equal to distance by the velocity. The one which takes a longer time is the first one, and the second one is the one which takes the lesser time. So minus that, this will give you the time for one mode, this will give you the time for another mode. If you minus one mode with the another one, then you will get a delay between that particular time, that is delta tau. This is another expression in most of the books. So if you know the dispersion effect from your polarization mode dispersion, certain polarization, after manufacturing they will give a data sheet for your optical fibers where DPD in some cases will be mentioned. So using that, if you know the DMPD, directly you can calculate your polarization effect with respect to the length of the fiber. Okay, DMPD, in those cases you can go for it. Normally we go for this. Okay, that is this polarization mode. Now we have studied group delay. In that we have studied material dispersion and polarization dispersion. The last one is your waveguide dispersion. Waveguide dispersion is caused by the difference in index of refraction between the core and cladding, resulting in a drag effect between the core and cladding portions of the power. So waveguide is the waveguide whatever we are using now is your optical fiber. Okay, so it is the dispersion, that is the pulse spreading from fiber itself. So from fiber itself means after manufacturing you have a core and cladding, because due to the core and cladding, if there are any dispersion effect is there, then it is called as waveguide dispersion. So there is a difference. So in last few in earlier classes we have studied that core cladding losses. So core cladding losses and waveguide dispersion is somewhat similar, but in core cladding losses we will only take the refractive indices and then we will analyze the attenuation. Okay, in case of waveguide dispersion we take the refractive indices, but we assume that we consider that the refractive index will change as with respect to your V number. V number, so N is a function of V number. In case of material dispersion, we have taken N as a function of wavelength. N varies as function of wavelength. That is material dispersion. In case of polarization mode dispersion, so your different modes will get different refractive indices because due to the because due to fiber is not an isotropic structure. So in case of waveguide dispersion, we take the same core and cladding, but N will change with respect to V, where V is the V number. Then there is a waveguide dispersion. What is V? V we have studied in the first module. V is equal to 2 pi a by lambda into numerical aperture. So that is your V number. V number. Okay. If N varies with respect to V number, then there will be then they encounter it, then the horizontal mode and your vertical mode will encounter a different refractive indices. That is this waveguide dispersion. Waveguide dispersion is caused by the difference in the index of refraction between the core and the cladding, resulting in the drag effect between the core and cladding portions of it. Okay, it is due to the dependency of the group velocity on the V number. Okay, why the group velocity is dependent on V number? Group velocity is normally dependent on N, numerical aperture, because N is equal to C by V. So if N changes with respect to V number, then group velocity changes. From that group velocity changes, you get a dispersion. So that is your waveguide dispersion. Okay, for your mathematical analysis, we take a propagation constant B and we calculate wavelength, waveguide dispersion. So whatever the derivations we have done in the last class, the same holds good. One step further you have to go. Okay, so you take a propagation constant B. B is equal to beta square divided by k square minus n2 square divided by n1 square minus n2 square. So what is beta? Beta is the propagation parameter. Propagation parameter, which is nothing but k into n. Okay, k is 2 pi by lambda. 2 pi by lambda into n is your beta. So that we know k is just the propagation constant kind of thing, which is 2 pi by lambda. So if you divide 2 pi by lambda into n, if you replace 2 pi by lambda into n here and 2 pi by lambda gets cancels, you will be left with n square. So your light beam is propagating in core, so it becomes n1 square. That means n1 square minus n2 square divided by n1 square minus n2 square, then b is almost equal to 1. Okay, so it can be approximated. This propagation constant value is very near to that. Okay, it is can be approximated using beta by k minus n2 divided by n1 minus n2. Okay, just rearrange whatever you have got here. So we'll see why we have used this. We'll see. So just rearrange it. B1, just after replacing and rearranging them, take this n2 as a constant, and you'll be left with this. And beta of k, beta by k is almost equal to n2 plus 1 plus b into delta. This is called as delta. That is relative refractive index difference, delta. We have replaced with the delta. So it is like this, beta by k. So if you want to know beta, so beta is linked to n2 of k. So so this is one expression, you keep it aside, then we'll go for your waveguide dispersion, because this will be used later. Beta is what we are interested in, because we want to derive the group delay in terms of your V number. Okay, so we assume that n changes with respect to V number, so there will be a group delay, so that you have to replace the equations whatever we have studied in the earlier classes with respect to V number, and then show that this is from only waveguide dispersion. Okay, so while deriving waveguide dispersion, we have to assume that material dispersion is 0 and polarization mode dispersion is 0. Practically there will be some amount, but we have to assume for our derivation both are 0, and then we derive. Okay. Tau g, yeah. So you keep it this aside. So if you use the same equations whatever we have derived in the last class, and instead of, so you'll get something similar to that. For if you divide tau g and tau mat whatever you derived, you get a similar expression. But there dw divided by d beta, dw in this case d omega, that is your angular frequency, divided by d beta divided by d w. Okay, so beta we will replace here in terms of kb, because n2, so whatever you got is beta is almost equal to n2k 1 plus b delta. Delta is your relative refractive index, which is almost a constant, and n2 is refractive index of the cladding, which is also a constant. So you left with k and b, which are the varying parameters. I will consider beta as kb, and I have replaced that. Okay, so other things are constant, n2 and delta I have placed here. Next, dw, instead of writing w is equal to kc, that I know, so I have written it in terms of k. C is a constant, it has come out. So if you derive the expression whatever we have similarly derived in the last class, you end up with getting this. So but only difference is, instead of beta you replace this, instead of w you replace kc, then you get this. That is your tau g. That is, that much of group delay will be there from waveguide dispersion. Okay, but now what is the basic definition of your waveguide dispersion? Your delay is occurred because due to V number. Now we had to show that there is no V number here. Okay, there is no V here. Now we should link this particular equation to your V number. Then only we will say that that is from a waveguide dispersion. So how to link is, there is nothing, other terms are not linked to V number. The only term which is linked to V number is K. Okay, so where k is your propagation constant, we know that V number is given by, V number is equal to 2 pi by lambda into numerical aperture. So this is your numerical aperture, 2 okay, 2 pi k is equal to 2 pi by lambda. Okay, so I've replaced it. So we have written a numerical aperture. As these are constants and they are very small values, we can neglect this. Okay, then V is directly linked or directly proportional to k and a. Okay, so assume a is a constant and V is varying with respect to k. So V is directly proportional to k. So wherever you have k, we can replace it with V approximately in the earlier expression. Then V is dependent on your waveguide delay. Okay, instead of k, we write it as V, P, and V. Okay. So just like this, tau g is equal to LC N2 instead of k, and we have replaced it. This V number is different for different modes. It depends on many parameters. V is equal to 2 pi by 2 pi a by lambda into numerical aperture. So it depends on a, it depends on lambda, it depends on numerical aperture, many parameters it depends. So it changes. So because due to that changing in V, if it changes n, then there will be a delay. That delay is your tau g. Okay, so we have stopped at this point. You can further go next and derive it, because this is just gives the delay. So from this delay there is a dispersion. Okay, that is pulse spreading. So you can replace this particular values with respect to dispersion effect, and then we'll see the effect. So we have seen in the last class that dispersion is equal to 1 by L multiplied by derivative of tau divided by d tau by d lambda. So we know that in the first class, in the previous class, dispersion is equal to 1 by L, because L is there because we are to take the dispersion effect with respect to the length of the fiber over per kilometer over the length of the fiber. So that is 1 by L multiplied by derivative of your tau. So whatever the tau you got, this you derive this completely with respect to lambda. Then you get the dispersion effect from waveguide dispersion, assuming other dispersions are 0. So if you derive it again with respect to lambda, you get a double derivative. So that much effect will be there from waveguide dispersion. Okay. Okay, whatever I explained, it is here. There is another thing called as a chromatic dispersion. So normally people may ask a chromatic dispersion, but normally they'll ask waveguide dispersion as well as material dispersion. In case in exams, if they ask chromatic dispersion instead of your waveguide and material dispersion, so chromatic dispersion is nothing but material dispersion and waveguide dispersion itself. It is the combination of both. Okay, you can explain material dispersion and waveguide dispersion. The combination of both material dispersion as well as your waveguide dispersion is nothing but your chromatic dispersion. Okay, same. So just be careful. If they ask chromatic dispersion, write material and waveguide dispersion. That's it. Okay. So, and coming to the end of your module, there is a problem which is given in your textbook. There are two ways in which you can solve. This is for a material dispersion. So a glass fiber exhibits a material dispersion given by this. So this parameter is given, lambda square d square n by into d square, some value. So where this has came from? This has came from a graph. Okay, in the last class I have shown a graph. From that graph, the value has been taken. This is the dispersion effect. Determine the material dispersion parameter at a wavelength of 0.85 micrometer. He has taken 850 nanometer and estimate the RMS pulse broadening per kilometer. You have to estimate the pulse broadening per kilometer and for an RMS spectral width of 20 nanometer. Okay, so just write down whatever the things are given. They are given this particular value, they are given the operating wavelength, and they are given the spectral width. Okay, so just write down that on the left side. Lambda is given. This is 20 nanometer spectral width, and this value is given. So we know the equation of material dispersion. So in the last class, we have stopped at the tau mat. Now, in order to get the material dispersion, that tau mat has to be derived with respect to d lambda and divide by 1 by L. Then you will get this particular expression. Okay, in the last class, I have given the expression, but it is not a full derivation. So we have, so whatever the equations required for material, this thing we have derived, and I've given an equation for d mat. So again, once you get the tau mat, you have to derive it, and then you get a dispersion effect. That dispersion value is this. So you know lambda, you know c is not c, you know that is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meters per second. It is the speed of the light in the vacuum. Okay, but lambda square into d square n is given, but here it is only d square by dn square. We will rearrange this. So we will rearrange this as like this. We take it into denominator and lambda square, divide it, so we get the same earlier expression. So we have changed it into this form, and then we have applied the values. And here instead of 3 into 10 raised to 8, we have taken 3 into 10 raised to 5, because you want to know the dispersion effect per kilometer. So when you want to know per kilometer, this is for meters per second. So per kilometer, he has taken here 3 is come to this. 850 nanometer is there, so he is written here. So divide this, you get 98.1 picoseconds per nanometer per kilometer. So for so when you want to transmit over 1 kilometer, then your spectral for a spectral change of 1 nanometer over the length of 1 kilometer, the dispersion will be 98.1 picoseconds. That is the meaning. Okay, so over the length of 1 kilometer, if the spectral components varied by 1 nanometer, then the dispersion will be 98.1 picoseconds. Okay, that is the meaning. So RMS pulse broadening we know from the last class. This is the expression we have got. So in the earlier cases, I have written it as d mat. Now it is m. So notation is different in some of the textbooks. D mat. So whatever you got is just replace whatever is given, replace it. L he has taken it as 1 meter. 1 meter he has taken. So you want to know after 1 meter. So the calculation will come to this, because so you observe here your m is picoseconds per nanometer per kilometer. Okay, this is 20 nanometer. Nanometer and nanometer gets cancels, left with picoseconds per kilometer. So if you rearrange, you get nanoseconds instead of picoseconds. You get a larger value. So 1960 something you get. Then if you rearrange, you get nanoseconds per kilometer. That is for an RMS value if you want to calculate. So in some of the text, in some of the ways, they may not give this. So this value is almost a constant value. At 850 nanometer, this value is 0.025. At 1550, this value will be 0.03. This value is almost a constant. So in some cases, they may not give. In those cases, you assume that this value is almost 0.025. So for over the range of your optical region, this value is 0.025 to 0.03. Okay, if it is not given, you have to assume that. Okay, the whatever the question is asked in other textbook, it is given in a different form. They are not given the particular first value. That means they are not mentioned this value, and they want you to calculate. They are not given this value. They want to calculate. Okay, but you have to assume. So this is what is given, and yeah, for 850 nanometer, you have to tell that this is 0.025, and then we calculate the same thing. Whatever it is there, we calculate, we get the same thing. Okay, and if it is operating at 1500 nanometer instead of 850 nanometer, you get 0.03. You have to use 0.03 is the value. Okay. Okay, next same. This is same. Instead of 20 nanometer, he has taken 45 nanometer and solved. Okay, this completes. Mostly I have completed the things related to your second module. From next class, we'll go for the third module. Okay. Okay, I hope you have understood to some extent. Just be there for 1 or 2 minutes. I will take the attendance. If you have any questions, you can ask through chat, or just be there for 1 or 2 minutes. I will take your attendance. Then I will end my session. Okay, I have recorded your attendance. Thanks for attending the class. I'll end my session.